Welcome guys, I hope you're having a great day. Now, today I want to have a chat to you about units, townhouses and houses. I want to talk to you specifically about the differences in purchasing them. Now, I'm a licensed real estate agent and I act as a buyer's agent for my clients. So I spend probably 90% of my week searching and hunting for the right asset to suit the right client. So I certainly see my fair share of units, townhouses and houses, and I wanted to today share with you some of the information that I get. Now, if at the end you do want to engage with us, please feel free to contact me anytime. We can book in a discovery session and we can have a chat to you about what asset you're looking for and how we can help to maybe find the right investment property to suit your needs. So I'm going to start with units down here. Now, there are a few negatives, probably more negatives than positives with units. There are a couple of positives, but the positives seem to always fall on the real estate side. So I'm going to start with the positive on units. The good thing about them is that there is just one settlement. They're very easy to control. You don't have to deal with construction loans or anything else. And they're a bit of an easy sell because there's no yard, no maintenance, and all that sort of stuff. So that's really the positive. And the positive doesn't really lie with you, the buyer. It lies essentially with the agent. Now, the negative I find is that there's far too many units, and people then go, well, why is this the case? Now, for those who have had the pleasure of coming along to some of my live sessions, you'll hear about my story, and essentially I purchased a unit in what I thought was a pretty good location, sitting just on Port Phillip Bay, just south of the Yarra River, within walking distance to Crown Casino. Now, that property itself has done very little over 15 years. Now, I've then looked at that and tried to do some research as to why. And the issue is that essentially every time the market gets a bit of strength, developers will come in and take out small building sites and put up massive towers and then construct another 200 units. So it basically floods the market. So every time we seem to get a bit of a strength in the unit market, it gets flooded again with developers, and it's too easy for them to be able to flood that market. So too many properties is one of the issues that I have with units. The other one that you see there on my point is completion. Now, what happens is that they all complete together. So in a large building, there might be 200-300 units, and the great majority, probably 80% of those, are normally sold to investors. So all of a sudden, you've got essentially 200 to 300 units all finishing at the same time. So then the rental market's flooded with all these rental advertisements, I guess, and looking for tenants. Now, you then think, well, some of the developers get around that by offering you a rental guarantee. Great option, and a lot of people sort of get, I guess, caught into that. Now, the problem is they offer every single purchaser that rental guarantee. So all they're really doing is they're just moving the problem from today, either a year down the track or 2 years down the track, depending on obviously what that sort of rental agreement is. So then you end up in the same situation. And to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of units, and you'll see at the end why when I start talking about houses. So that's probably enough on units. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to message me anytime. Townhouses. Now, townhouses are a step better than units. They do have a land component to them, but there are some negatives to them. The body corporate is one. You normally have a small body corporate that runs the townhouse. You normally have a sinking fund, and there's contributions that you have to make to it. So if there's any changes, i.e. you need the roof of the building painted or you need some sort of work done, it has to be agreed upon at a committee level. And it can be very problematic, and I do have clients that have gone into those assets on their own without my advice as a buyer's agent, and they have got themselves in a position where they're not real comfortable with what they own. The other thing is that yes, you do have a land component, but it is a joint land component, so there'd be common areas and different things that you're responsible for. So again, not a bad option if you're price driven, but you've got to be really particular about what townhouse you get, where it is, what body corporate's involved, and do a bit of research on it before you jump in. So that brings me to the final one, houses. Now, I've really only had to put one heading underneath that, and that's land. Now, the big thing that, well, anyone who knows about tax depreciation, you can depreciate the construction. You cannot depreciate land. And there is a reason for that, is because land doesn't depreciate, it appreciates. So that's where the money is in terms of getting some capital growth out of our asset. So there's a few other things I do like about it. Essentially that you own the land, it's a freehold, there's no body corporates, you control what happens to your property on that particular site. So house and land is by far, I think, the best way to go for capital growth, which is what we're looking for as a buyer's agent out of property. Now I know budget-wise that can be really difficult for some people because it does press that budget point in terms of getting house and land. That's something that we sort of go through in our discovery sessions. So if you did want to book in, more than happy to sit and have a chat with you, and we'd go through all the options available there. So that basically sums it up. Units, townhouses and houses. In the next presentation that I'll give shortly, that I'll post out there for everyone to have a look at, I'm going to talk to you about new houses versus old houses, and we're going to have a discussion around that. The tax laws have changed quite significantly recently. So I am going to have a chat about the pros and cons of both, and as everything in life, there is pros and cons, but I'll give you my thoughts and my opinion. Thanks again for joining me. Would love to book in a discovery session with you, so if you do want to learn a bit more, or you want to engage us as a buyer's agent to help you find something, please jump on our website or and click the link and we'll go from there. Thanks guys, have a great day and enjoy.